And the only way you're going to get out of it is that you have to understand what true liberation is. And most of us in here today are still slaves. You think because ain't nobody got no chains on you, ain't nobody got no ropes around you, and making you call yourself Toby, you don't think you're a slave, but you are every morning when you get up, go to work, living in a house that you say yours, but it really ain't yours because you still got to go give that money back to that man. You got to, and this is the thing of slavery. And white America, we got an eraser here. Okay, white America realized that they went about slavery wrong in 1863. They realized they went about it wrong. It was costing them more. People were dying. So they got to now create a good slave, a volunteer slave. One that won't give you no problem. One that won't give you no trouble. They did it what they call was sharecropping. Sharecropping was the white man owned all of that. The white slave owner, the black man had a little piece of property there, maybe 2 acres. This man had 600 acres here. And he promised the black man, I'll give you these 2 acres on a house if you and your family will form this for me. So the family formed his 600 acres, the whole thing, crop, plant, for him to give them 2 acres, right? What they did, they built him a house. They said, hey, John, you want to add another room to your house? Oh, yeah. All right. I'll finance it for you. It'll be $3,000. And you give me $200 a month. Right? John, want another one? Yeah. There's going to be another $200 a month. So John really never got out of that system. That's why in America one time it was a crime for a black man to own land. And they gave him a problem with owning land, because if you own your own, now you're doing all the work over here anyway. You're doing 600 acres over here anyway to make him that money just for you to get that little old small corner over there. Most of the wealth in America is made by black men. Most of it was made by black men. And we don't see it, and there are things happening that we don't see. I'm going to tell you why, is you're dealing with evil people now. So, you get all these black folk get property over here. When they get property over here, they obtain it. We're going to make the economy bad, raise insurance and all these things to get them to lose it. And then we got the Mexicans that we done let stay over here for so many years to build their wealth. And we know they've been doing it all the time, but at the time that their wealth is, because people that are from other countries, at the time that they're excelling, kick them out. Well, who's going to get the stuff when you kick them out? Who's going to get that? Who's going to get the house that the Mexican brought? That's illegal. Who's going to get the money in the bank? Who's going to get all the stuff in the bank? The people that's kicking them out. Make it bad for them. Do you know? Look at it. Look in your phone now. Took it up. Employment for blacks, the highest it's ever been. Unemployment. See, Elijah, come here, son. Erase that for me. What does it say? What is it saying about black unemployment now? So I want y'all to get this. So liberation, to be free, and this is what I want to do. I want to get the rest of us free. Not just the physical body. And to really be totally free, we have to have a group of people that does not need outside sources for survival.
Unemployment among black Americans last month reached its highest level in more than 3 years, in stark contrast to the border labor market resilience.
You see that? Right? Systematically. Mississippi, they killing black babies through the doctors. They got more black babies being killed in Mississippi than the ones that's dying in the war in Ukraine. Mississippi have more black infant deaths than the whole country put together. Out of every 1,000 children born in Mississippi, 6 blacks die. 15%. Type it in, black infancy deaths in Mississippi. So we look, because you're in the workforce and all you see is what you've been doing, you don't look behind the scene. Kind of like that Wizard of Oz. When I was young, you watch it, all this stuff is going on, but when you peek behind the curtain, you see. So you've been used to on that treadmill. And you've been on it a long time, but you don't peek behind the corner. Because what gets me is, how can a white man be born in the city and a black man be born in the city at the same time, living in the same world, go to the same school, go to the same college, and we both come out, and he excel quicker than me. It's a system. And you will not do it in the system. If you're going to do it, there have to be black men that come together outside of the system and develop financial security, not within their means of how they do it. And see, the black churches fail in many ways because how the black church failed, because the strongest thing in a black community and the most powerful thing in the black community is the church. And they're all about just beating tamarines and falling out. Well, the strongest thing in the black community, if you look at any black community today, the most expensive building in the black community of any black community you go in is the church. Why? Now, you go down Inwood, down this road, show me one grocery store owned by black people. Show me one clothes store owned by black people. Show me one. Show me one decent restaurant by black people. But yet in this community, you can look around here and see this mass building, the most expensive thing in this community, on this street, on the street next over, and everywhere you go. You know why it's like that? Because the church is the only place that black people go collectively and put their money together. Nowhere else. And the church hasn't taken opportunity of that and taken advantage of that because the pastor put it in a Rolls Royce. Or they use it for the wrong source rather than economically development and developing men. Where else? Black people don't, a lot of them don't even invest. But they would take 10% every month and 10% and put it somewhere and see if the church don't be wise about the 10% that they put in, it can't give back to the community. Most black folk don't even invest 10% in the bank, but they'll give it to church. So the church got to be wise with that 10% that they give and create something that establishes a strong economic force in those communities. And what is that to do? To free us and liberate us financially. But if you ain't got working men who work, there is no 10% that come in. That is your tax, because this is a kingdom. Now, what we've done, unlike most churches, and you'll see this, people take 10%, you take your tax. How much we pay in taxes in here? What is the taxes now? Huh? 7.5. They take 7.5% of taxes. They got roads. They got schools. They got gyms for the publics. And you see here, they took 7.5 when they did that. We took the 10. We got our own road. They ain't big as theirs. Got our own gym. Got our own White House. Got our own school. All those taxes you pay are for schools, for roads. Because in order to do it, you have to, y'all you listening to me? You getting this? Come here, son. Now, everybody follow me? You got to get this now. What you do as men and what we do as men is to recover ourselves from slavery. All right. So 1619, 2019, 1863, you get liberated. Supposedly, only physically. The physical man. Right? Like white people said, white racist people, not all white people, just the racist one, says, all right, you all can come out, but I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. We're going to segregate. Blacks over here, whites over here. Because we're not supposed to be together. Biggest lie you ever heard. That's the biggest lie you ever heard. You ain't never heard no lie like that. That's a big lie. America was never segregated. It was never segregated. I will say that again. It was never segregated. It was economically segregated, but it was never segregated. All right. Why do you tell me you had a problem and you were segregated? How can I be segregated and you don't want to eat with me? I'm in your house cooking food at your house. Now, how we segregated? I'm in your house and your child sucking my mama's breast. Your child over there, the white child, getting chocolate milk. What you talking about segregated? I'm cooking in your house. You picking me up. That wasn't segregated. It was economically segregated for a purpose. It was never a true segregation in America. That's the illusion. It was economic segregation when it came down to business for a particular reason. There was no, my mother, your grandmother, they raised white kids in the house. What was the segregation? This is what it was. Restaurants. See, I got black people in the back cooking. That ain't segregated. What it was, I could get black customers, give them a lower level of service, and I didn't have to occupy my restaurant to use the lights and the waters. So I'm able now to get business from blacks, but not have to give them the service. So I don't have to pay as much for service because I can serve them outside and serve the others inside. I get more people coming. Then the next thing, I can keep whites from putting their money on this side. Because blacks would certainly come to our businesses, but we wouldn't have to come to their businesses. So we will still let you come and buy, but we ain't buying from you. Black people say, okay, this is when the problems start coming. It's when the real issues start coming. When black people start coming, they'll say, so let's do this. Why don't we take our money and we're going to build our own businesses. Erase it again for me, son. So I'm going to go over there. We're going to build our own businesses. So this is what we're going to do. Y'all follow me? Because now we got to recover. I'm going to see what happens. We're going to do this. Erase the whole thing. So this is how we're going to do this. Black folks say, I'm talking about, this is because now they start to want to liberate themselves, not just physically. They woke up and found out we're not physically we're physically liberated, but we're not financially liberated. So what we're going to do, all right, come, that's good. What we're going to do, we've been going across over here to purchase, but you ain't treating us right. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to come over here, and everything that we had to go over there for you to get, we're going to start building it here. Now, the first problem is, in order to get doctors, we got to get educated. In order to get lawyers, we got to get educated. So I don't want y'all educated over here. We're going to give you bad education. You ain't going to come get educated. Because if we keep you from getting educated, then you can't open those businesses. So the first thing was the fight against education. I want you to learn how to read. Don't let you learn how to write. Because if you do that, you're going to be able to do what I do and provide that. So all this. So black businesses say, you know what we're going to do? Let's do this. Because guess what's happening? When these black businesses start building, it lowered their wealth. Because now the wealth is being put back here and not over there. That means there's no flow of money going into the white community. The flow of money is staying in the black community to sustain itself. And anybody will tell you black people consume more than whites. That's why they lured us in and buying all these particular things, all these different holidays, all this stuff. We'll go over that later. Now we have another problem. Most of the food supply, because most of your white people were not trained about food because they had depended upon the slaves to do it. Most of the crops that you grow over here, the slaves, for instance, the sugar cane crops. They couldn't even do sugar cane. They didn't even know how to do sugar. It was black people that came over here and showed them how to do Haitians, black Haitians. Type in who introduced, I think it's granulated sugar to America. They didn't even know what to do with it. The sugar was being poisoned. The sugar was going bad. This is in Louisiana. we actually went there. What's that?
Etienne de Boer, a New Orleans sugar planter, introduced granulated sugar to America in 1795 by successfully crystallizing it on a commercial scale for the first time in the Louisiana territory.
Now type in Haitians in the sugar industry. So I had a chance to go down into some of them fields, and does it have it in there?
Haitians are extensively involved in the Dominican Republic sugar industry, primarily as seasonal immigrant
No, I'm talking
labor.
about not now. During slavery, Haitians in the sugar industry during slavery. So let's do this. You get all of the crops, all of the food. So guess what? What did the white individuals do? They said, you got it?
Haitians, especially enslaved Africans in French Saint-Domingue, were the primary labor force in the sugar industry during slavery, where they endured brutal conditions, high mortality rates from diseases, and exploitation.
Now, I want you to look at this. This is what I want you to see. All of these businesses that the black folk created, when white America see that they were getting their financial liberation, there's another war. And that war ain't been won yet. That war there, because, see, everybody looked at the physical, but they said, you know what we're going to do? Let's go down. They got all businesses, and we're going to tear these down. Type in Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street, yes, sir. That's right, and all his ideas. That's right. He got the credit. And even when it come down to Ford and Carver was good friends. But there was a reason why. All this stuff, why you think they call the place where you do the cars a plant? Because he taught him how to duplicate it. Now, I'm gonna show you this. Give me a picture of Black Wall Street. That Black Wall Street. See that all of this was type in what all that Black Wall Street have. So there was everybody see the Civil War, but the Civil War freed us physically, and that war they say was won by the North. But the other wars that you see, which is the economic war, we lost that. So economically, we're still not free. And all we focus on is the Civil War. But there was a war in 1920 that went on that most folk don't know about. And that was the war on black businesses. And that war, we ain't win. Because all they tell you, see, they only tell you about Rosewood, they only tell you, but this happened throughout the whole community. Watch this, read this.
Professional services, lawyers, dentists,
This was what was all there.
doctors, real estate agents, and insurance agents, crafts and trades, tailors, building contractors, painters, and shoemakers, retail.
No, that ain't good enough. They need to be more detailed. I'm going to tell you how many hospitals they had. Type in what were all the businesses on Black Wall Street. I'm good. Type in that. I want you to see that. So remember, the Civil War was won by the North, supposedly. Are y'all putting that in? But not the economic war. All right. It should have something that tells you in particularly how many they had. They had banks, loan agencies, insurance agencies, lawyers, dentists, medical doctors, building contractors, painters, tailors, shoemakers, barbers, shoe shiners, pharmacies, grocery stores, restaurants. They had their own cab companies, their own bus line, and its own airport. Yes. What you mean? Oh, they burned it down. That wasn't the only thing they burned down. What you mean they tried to copy it?
For example, like you see a white Wall Street now. You never seen a black Wall Street again.
Well, there's a couple of things you have to see. There was no such as a white Wall Street. It was just Wall Street. And what happened is black people were not able to participate in those businesses. So they duplicated what they had saw somewhere else. They duplicated their own area. But this is where the problem comes in. We only look at Wall Street, Black Wall Street. But listen, between are y'all listening to me? Because I'm going to need you back there. Between 1920, you have a question? You have a list? All right, give me that list. And I want you to put this. Oh, y'all listening to me? I want you to type in how many communities were destroyed or cities were destroyed between 1920 and when did Black Wall Street, when was it burned down? Okay, so between 1920 and 1923, how many black communities were burned down? Type that in.
I have a list of the business.
No, that's just that community.
I have a list of the business.
Give me the businesses.
R.T. Bridgewater, physician. Miss L. Charleston, grocery. Miss G.W. Hunt, beauty parlor. Leon Williams, confectionery. F.R. Williams, real estate. Reverend J.H. Hooker, photography. J.L. Mosley, shoemaker. J.W. York, meats. Cornelius Hunter, restaurant. Miss Bertha Brown, restaurant. T.B. Carter, billiards. Carver French, dry cleaners. T.D. Jackson, barber. Dr. L.N. Neal, chiropractor. Miss Dora Wells, garment factory. W.D. Kelly, lunch counter. S.G. Smith, insurance. Bashirs and Franklin, attorneys and oil dealers. O'Quaker, cigar shop, and
Now,
Bayers and
the
Anderson
worst thing
Taylor.
you can do, you still got more, right?
That was the last.
The worst thing you can do is have a war and don't know you in it, and lose it and don't know. Now look at all these. Rosewood, we got Rosewood. It was burned down. Tusker, Oklahoma, 1921. Illinois, 1954. Then Blackfoot, Indiana, 1923. Now this is something you want to realize. When was the Great Depression? Type in the Great Depression. When did the Great Depression take place? Tell you why. Because I want to show you something now. Watch this.
1929.
19 what? It took place in 19 what? 29. They knew that their businesses was connected to a system, but these communities were not. Because these communities, remember, was isolated from the north. So if in 1929, if that Great Depression was coming and these businesses was incubated, they wouldn't have felt none of that. Because they had their own banks, they had their own system. So they knew something down the pipeline coming, if it come back down the pipeline, these folks going to survive because they isolated. If America goes broke, it doesn't affect Cuba. If America goes broke, it doesn't affect Canada. They may feel some of the problems of it, but because you have created this own isolated people that you've separated yourself from, they can survive without you. But you cannot survive without them. So now what you got is all these places was burned down. That's war. bombs, the first time bombs have ever been used in America. Type it in, bombs used at Black Wall Street. Everybody follow me? Let me show you how. That's the first stage of that war. And I want to tell you, we've been at war ever since. That war hasn't ended. That war to keep black businesses out of black communities has not ended. But they're fighting with another weapon now. No, I want Wall Street, Black Wall Street. War bombs used in Black Wall Street. Does it have that?
During the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre, white mobs used airplanes to drop incendiaries, devices, and firebombs on the city's Greenwood district known as Black Wall Street.
That's a war.
The first aerial assault on a U.S. city, the assault on Greenwood, is considered the first time.
That was a war. The first time a bomb has ever been released in its own country. That was a war. Now, they don't see that. And guess what? That war has been going on ever since. So the war we're in now is not, and I'll get all these other psychological and spiritual wars later, and I won't teach that in our next lesson. The wars we're in now, that we're dealing with now, it's not psychologically, it's economically and business war. It's a business war. Now watch how now that was part of it. In phase 2 was this. Zoning. The zoning. Building and zoning. And you've been running into that, Ella Johnson. Now we say we can't bum them. Can't bum them. The nigga know they're going to get us. So this is what we're going to do. First thing is this. Now, we start building businesses down our major roads. Okay? That's our businesses down our major roads. Guess what we're going to do? Those roads are too small. We want to expand them. Now, when you build, you got what's called setbacks. So that means if I build a building, and so you got your lots that are, say, 100 feet. The average lot to build on, say, be 50 by 120. Just use that number. So you got, and then now if this is a road, if it's a regular road, I think, what's my setback from a regular road? 7 feet? 25 from the center of the line. Is that right? 15 from the edge of the road and 25 from the center. Correct? So a setback is, that means whatever I build had to be 25 feet from the center of this road. So guess what they say? You know what? We know now you ain't got but 120 on your lot. But we think we need to put a state road here because the traffic getting bad. This is what happened in First Street. So we're going to put a state road here, and the state road is going to come this far, and now guess what? This building doesn't meet, this business owner don't meet the requirement to be able to build a business no more. So the lots ain't no good. They can't build no business. But guess what we do? Now watch this. We're going to take that road to show you how slick we are. Because Winter Haven had all black businesses. Both sides. I remember that coming up as a boy, and I showed y'all pictures of it. Now guess what we're going to do? We're going to bring that road here. But now you see how crooked the road is in Winter Haven? Like you don't go straight to 17, but you have to take that curve. This is what we're going to do. We're going to tear y'all businesses up, but we ain't going to take it downtown while our businesses are. And we're going to make this old stupid-looking road that goes all the way curved like this to protect our business, but we're going to tear all y'all down. Now, you see all these businesses tore down in Winter Haven, and they make these roads to go all around. All them businesses got this bridge, and then all the black businesses torn down. That's economical warfare. Over there, you're going to build a civic center on the community over there where the people live over there in Lakeland. And that didn't just go here. That business trail goes all the way from the tip of Florida all the way to Miami. They went there and put that road down there to get rid of the black businesses. That's war. That's war. Give Ella Johnson the mic. Y'all got another one for him, give it to him. And that's the challenges we fight now.
If you watch how the roads are designed in Polk County, going down south and even going north,
All the way.
through the black community is straight.
All
But
the
when
way
you get to the
through
white
it.
side, it curves. If
All-
you look at all the major roads, they curve through the white communities, but they straight through the black.
All the way through because they protecting those businesses, Electronically. And nobody knows more than you guys because y'all been pulling permits and knowing what's going on.
As you mind breaking down, you gave us the history of the before the roads were there, they had the railroad tracks, and that's where the laborers.
Yes.
And the reason why it became prosperous as a black community.
Yes, and that's true. So as Electronically said, slavery messed up the white community more than they know the black slave owners. Let me tell you how they messed up. And a panic came once everybody was free. Give you an example. I made my money by having more slaves. So in Carolina, one man might have had 60 slaves. Another man over here, he had 100 slaves. So if they're free and get a right to vote, now we're the minority. Because we got more slaves than we got us. So immediately when they're feeling free, we got to kill off some of them because if they ever go to the vote, we've been raising all these slaves. We never intended for them to go free. Then the next thing is when we give them their communities, we're going to run the railroad station right through there because now we get the labor better because now we got the black people. They ain't got to go to our community, so we're going to run the railroad tracks through there. All right? And then when we run the railroad tracks through there, we can pick up our trucks and stuff and go load from out there. Yes, sir, Deacon Jones.
And all the black communities on the other side of the railroad track.
Yes, all of them.
In every city I've
Every
been
city
to,
you go into,
yeah.
it's on the other side.
Yeah.
So we were going there to load up for them to make it easier. All they had to do is get the trains and go through our communities, and we stop and we pick up the stuff, and we are able there to go and cut off. But what they didn't anticipate, this freedom going. Now all of your businesses had to run through those communities, your gas stations and all those kind of things there, because of the fact that that's where most of your business was going. They sold downtown, but they had to get the merchandise from the black communities. And it was accessible to where we were.
And you put a
Come sit a little
train
closer,
on
Zach.
every track in Plant City, you can't get out of the city of Plant City.
It's locked in.
All the blacks are in that area. Now, just a couple of weeks ago, I believe about a year or two ago, I had a shed put on my property. I didn't keep it long, but the other day a guy came to my house, an inspector. He came to my house. He said, it's a shed on this property. By them building that new Publix up the road from me, they widened the road from Cherry Street down past my house to the other corner. Now, the setback on my property, where they widened that road, that shed couldn't have been, I would have had to move that shed because of the setback. It was in the backyard, but it was so many feet. And when they widened the road, that lessened my footage for my property. So I would have had to move. They wanted me to move a shed, but the shed was no longer there.
Guess what happens? When I call down to the city and I tell the city, think about this. When I go tell the city I'm going to build, they know who all building. This happened in Winter Haven when we was getting ready to build a grocery store, okay? I took the plans down there, showed them we finna build a grocery store in a museum in that particular property. When I showed them we was gonna build a grocery store in the museum in that particular property, come back later, we were approved. You know, we pretty much, the zoning was good. I came back, they said, you can't build that there, but you can build smaller. Y'all went to the meeting with me, said you can build smaller. I said, no, I done got these plans made. I'm not gonna build no smaller. I said, well, they had changed the zoning in that area without even going through an official meeting. They had changed the zoning in that area where I couldn't build nothing but this little old baby grocery store here. And I went down there, we had to go through, and we went down there and talked to them, and they put it back where we can build what we getting ready to build. Now, let me say this to you. We are engaged in economical warfare. Because if you ever get liberated as black people, if all of you get liberated, you hurt the businesses that depend on you to buy and to keep their businesses going. And this is not a black and a white thing, but it's an economic depression and depravity. But think about this. Just think. You got checkers in your community down there that's owned, I guarantee it's owned by someone white, not a person of the community. Think about if everybody stopped working there of color and everybody stopped buying there of color, what would happen? How about AutoZone? Think about how about Dollar General? It's shut down. But we don't know our power. But the only we can't shut down because we ain't got nowhere else to go. That's why Martin Luther King got killed. It wasn't never we shall overcome March. No, he got killed because he said, y'all keep your money in your pocket and let's boycott. We're going to kill that business.
Right now, they're doing that at Target. Black people are boycotting Target, and just their quarterly sales just been plummeting. And they're trying to get rid of the CEO because of he didn't want to put pretty much black products up front due to that DEI thing.
Yeah. But Ron, he's a devil. Him and Trump is, he Lucifer and Trump the Antichrist. But I'm going to go over there and show you what that plan is on that. But now, knowing that we're in war, this is, and that war has been fought, and most people don't see it. So you and I, there's a couple of things that we have to do to combat this. And I'm going to go over some scripture on it. We, as men, I say church men, and I invite, if they're part of the church, I invite white, Hispanic, and all to be a part of what we're doing, because our church is not a black church. We got white and black, but I'm being honest to let you know who's being targeted and where the fight is. What do? To win this war, then we must build a machine that fights economically. Because this war isn't about our physical, it's about our economics. So we must ourselves build businesses to deprive our dollars from going, to keep our dollars from going into the people. The Ku Klux Klan was financed by us. The people that hate you and fight against you, we funding them. So what we do right now, to fight back, if I provide businesses and jobs, that's what we're trying to do here. If I provide businesses and jobs, we would definitely hurt the oppressor. Because if I got now a restaurant here, now this is my first place that we want to do. We got our nonprofit, and then we'll have to have our for-profit. If right now, as a church, and you 10 brothers that we all put our funds together, the doggone burger, we're about to get there. Elder Andrew is bringing us close. All right? And Elder Andrew and them are getting ready to open a restaurant up in Statesboro. And when they do, we're going to drive up there, and we're all going to go up there and support them. Everybody, we're going to support them. Because if we do this is how we win. First thing is restaurant. If we do the restaurant, all right, son. If we do the restaurant, first thing we want to do is recover our own finance before we even go. Just our own finance, just Bibleway. We get the restaurant. We got Alicia. They got their restaurant. We got Brother Spence. Got all these. See, and I know some places you don't have no place to sit down, all those different things there. And I know we got a little smaller business, but the thing is, we got to build our artillery up. So right now, we got to support our own to build it up. And so we can't go nowhere outside and shop if we got it here. If we got it here, we don't go nowhere else to get it but here. If we got it. We recover our own economics first before we go and reach the world's economics. Now, if we can do that, think about this. On Sunday, and all we need is one. And that one will birth the others. If on Sundays everybody here support our restaurant once we build it here, we'll have enough profit out of that to go and build another business. But all I want to do, now, what's going to happen? We build that 400 seating capacity, eating place for everybody to eat here. That's 60 jobs. See, people take that foolishness on the job now because they ain't got no choice. They ain't got nowhere else to go. That's 60 jobs. We got 700, 800 members, some active, inactive. Between all that, when you look at here, that's 500 or 600, say 300 or 400, 500 a Sunday that's eating there. Say everybody don't eat, just say 200 eat there. Then when First Baptists get out of church and because we got a food that we're acquired to, and not only we're acquired to it, whites and blacks like the food that blacks cook. So what happened? We get all of that coming in here 7 days a week, and on Sundays, then the revenue we're making from that is there. And then we build that business there. Marcus got his air conditioning business going. Then, but you know how we got to do that now. The Bible said the work of the wicked is waiting for us. You got to work. Because you can't build it if we ain't got working men. Work temporarily so you can own permanently. So y'all men need jobs. You got to have jobs. Don't tell me I want to do the Lord work. This is the Lord work. Go get some job and bring some income so we can build. You can't do that if you don't have working men. You got to have working men to defeat this system, and you put your tithe in, you put your offering in, you put your giving in, you build the kingdom, and then y'all put your money together and build businesses. Liberate yourself. Now we got 10 brothers came together. I think it was 10 of us, and they put $1,000 together a piece, came up with $10,000 to start the doggone burger. That'll be opening probably in the next, I guess, 6 months or so. Ella Johnson is working really hard. And he got us as close. He got us good and close. I mean, he got us good and close. But guess what? Look at the challenge we had there. Can't have an awning. Can't have this. You got to do this. Got to do that. Because right now, we would be the only business in that area that's legitimate of like that. We would be the only one. And then they're building this big old complex across from it. So the only place that people will be able to go is over there. And people walking down the street, who you think they're going to be supporting? So we got to get economic warfare in our mind. So let me give you this. Any question? All right, Ella Tylex.
Not only will you begin the rec center revenue, Not only will you be in the rec center revenue every weekend, they're having football games. You can't even get in there.
Let me tell you what they did. They went and brought up, and we don't see it, look in our communities. We got plenty of places for football fields. They would buy, the county would buy that to put those in it. They ain't making no money. Now look down the road, we got a big old football field, but we ain't got no businesses. That football field ain't making no money for this community. That big old thing they got over there by her, and the black folk, they just gullible. Oh, we got a football field. None of that money going to you. Oh, we got a big old clique. Look at the big old wreck. That ain't making nothing. That's county money. If you're going to put $20, $30 million in our community, build some businesses. I don't care about no wreck. Listen, if you give us $20 million to build our business, we'll build our own wreck. It ain't a revolving income. And then you wonder why you got boys selling dope, because they ain't got no job. If I build businesses, I can give somebody a job and they don't have to sell crack. If I can provide you with the money where you won't have to sell crack, they're sending the police down there to get rid of our drug problem. You don't need the police. You need somebody, you need an employment agency to give us a job. People sell crack because they want money. So you want to get rid of crack, send somebody down there with an application, tell me you're going to give me $20 an hour, $15 an hour. That's how you get rid of crack. You don't send the feds down there, send somebody down there with a job, with a pen and paper, give me somewhere to work. You're going to send the feds, war on drugs. You want a war on drugs, give me a job. That's how you fight drugs, not by going and putting somebody in jail. Give me a job. Ain't got no job, ain't nothing to do in the only activity that we got that bring pleasure is sex. Ain't got nothing else I can do, so we go back. That's why the old folk had 20 kids. Wasn't nothing to do. They ain't have no TV, no football, nothing else. Let's go back here and have sex. That's the only entertainment we got. Got 20 babies. So why you think these young people, they having babies, ain't nothing to do. If the man got that sudden busy to do a job, or sudden he ain't got that. But now he got child support coming against him. Now he got to pay that. Then he go to jail for child support. Now he got to pay probation. Got to pay child support and probation. All that other stuff you got to pay. Got to pay the urine. You follow me? It makes sense?
Addiction to selling it, like using it.
So that's true. Y'all with me? Any comment? Any comment? All right. Any comment? You had something to say? Now I'm down on the end here. But does it make sense? I want y'all to see what we're trying to do. Yes, sir, Deacon.
Take a lot of these Chinese, you take these Mexicans, come over, you take these Puerto Ricans, and they've been doing it for years. That's why they're so upset with them. Because they come together, they put their money together, they bought businesses, they bought land, they bought property, and the government don't like it. So like you say, they take them, they ship them out of here, and they take their property and they take their businesses from them. But with us as black men, it's the mindset of us.
That's
and
why
our minds is just about us individually.
That's why I come to that psychological. I told y'all there's on us is psychological bondage. See, we're still psychologically enslaved. And when I see men that don't work and don't like working, see, you take a lion in the wild, that joker can hunt up something. But there's an experience that he can have that changes his whole mentality, and he's no good. You take an elephant, and we got men today in the church and out that are messed up. See, prison mess you up. Slavery mess you up. I'll tell you why it mess you up. See, when you go to prison, that's why you got to get your mind recalculated after you go out of prison. When you go to prison, you have been caged. you're no different than a lion. You're no different than a goat or somebody in cage. And what you've been done, and they think when people get in prison, they don't realize what happens when they get out. You go to prison, you sit in prison 7 years. Guess what? You've had to depend upon somebody to take care of you. They feed you. They clothe you. God bless you, Deke. It ain't too dark for you going out there, is it? You need somebody to follow you? You good? You sure? All right. All right. Ella Tyler, Deke, Ella Tyler's going to follow you. One going to drive you. Oh, is it still light out there? Okay, good. All right. He said it's still lit up. He said that's why he going. I don't like him driving at night. Thank you, Deacon Joe. We're gonna get some. Joe, I brought some sodas, and I give you my card to go get some pizza. We're gonna eat some pizza tonight and just enjoy it. But listen, brothers, if you have been to prison, you got to get a reset. Because you have sat down, somebody has fed you, somebody has clothed you, and when you take an animal and put him in a cage and feed him and take care of him and set him back out, he don't know how to do it. He's been taken care of too long. And now he get out, he don't know how to survive. He's still looking for somebody else to take care of him if he don't get that mindset. That's the same mindset that we had even as black people by welfare. Now, I don't like all of this, some of the stuff. I'm against welfare. I am. I'm against it. Not because I don't believe we deserve it. Because I had a white guy tell me one time, I was in the line, there was a lady buying groceries, and he said, he's made a comment, said, all these black people, he's talking about her, she said, all this stuff, I'm paying for it, you're on welfare. And I looked at him real quick, I said, your mama was on welfare. And your grandmama. He looked at me, I didn't like what he said, he bothering this girl. And I have prayed, and I've asked God to forgive me. Because you shouldn't, I just went off on him because he's going off. He don't know that girl's circumstance. So he said, what you mean? I said, listen, the first welfare system provided in this country was provided by my ancestors. I said, your mama and your daddy and your grandmama, they got our money for free. That's welfare. So I said, the welfare didn't come from the White House, it came from the Black House. Remember that. You couldn't do nothing but back up. Amen. Now, if people don't understand from this perspective what about slavery and being put in jail and getting out, it's taken some men years and years and years and years to go and get a decent job and stay on it for a long amount of time and take care of themselves. They can't keep a job. They can't survive. They can't pay bills. Even if they get a job, they don't know how to function with money because they'll spend all their money and expect somebody else to feed them. It has psychologically messed you up. They did a survey of the men that have went to jail and come out, went to prison and come out, and they noticed that same trend that I'm talking about now. A hustler mentality. A day-by-day mentality. Now that same mentality was put on the whole black race through slavery. You know there's a gene that black folk have in America, that the gene that people from other countries don't have, that have never been through the slave system that we've been through? Africans have less than we have and live better than we have. That's why I love Africa. Now, I have to be honest with you. There's some Africans live better than folk. They looking at Africa like Africa. There's some you tell Eddie. I tell you what, we went at one of the bishop houses in Africa. It looked better than some of the folk houses down here. I mean, just look. They got a ceiling fan over there I want to buy. You push the button and the ceiling fan open up. They're creative. Haiti, I would live in Haiti. When they get the gangs out, I would go and live in Haiti. I need you for the sake of your community to help win this economical warfare by getting jobs, supporting your businesses. Now you understand what Goshen was. Goshen, and I'm going to take some questions, was Moses saying, when y'all come to Egypt, y'all ask him for this little plot of land that we're living in, and all of us going to dwell there, and we're going to have our own economic system over here in Goshen. And that's where we're going to live. We're going to buy from ourselves. We're going to raise our own cattle. I think I talked enough now. Let me get some questions to come in. Then I'm going to show you my strategy. I want you to study that paper that you got. Show you our strategy. All right? Deacon Joe.
I just want to say, fellas, that what Pastor is teaching us and telling us is real. I don't know if a lot of you look at a lot of these documentaries and stuff on TV, but the white society, most of them, they've got the concept. I mean, these guys, they have bunkers built. They got underground houses built that they can, people, 75, 100 people can stay. You pay so much money, you move up under the ground. I mean, they've done this stuff, and they've been doing it for years. So we just got to get our mindset as brothers, I mean, as church brothers, and men just individually to come up with and listen at Pastor and take some of his concept and his information that he's given us and try to make it through it and make it happen. We got to get out of this self-centered stuff, just self-centered. We got to try to move forward, and it's coming. Well, it ain't coming, it's here. I mean, we was at work the other day, I think Dana gone, and they told us right off the top, I've invested in 401k for 12 years. And I was telling the elder, all of a sudden now, it's no more matching it. Once I got fully invested, 100% match every year, they done with it. In 2020, they cut back to 3%. Now it's nothing. So that's just money that's coming out of my check that I'm giving to them, and I ain't getting nothing. I ain't getting no payback on it no more. The company, that's just to show you the power that these companies got. They can do whatever they want to do, whenever they want to do it, however they want to do it. You just a statistic. That's it.
I want to say 2 things right quick. I know for me, being here, the one thing that that they do not like is when we learn the laws and learn how to do things.
Yes.
When I was going to the city, the first few months I was here, they know I didn't know nothing, so they talked to me a certain way.
Yeah.
But when I started learning the system and learning things, their whole attitude started changing towards me because they knew they weren't going to just walk all over us. And so the biggest thing we got to do is learn things. Not just to do the job, but learn how to do the job. Learn the laws, learn the rules, learn the statutes. With the building, it's easy to put a piece of board together. Yeah. But when you know how to go down there and do site planning, permitting, we cut out, since I've been here, several hundreds of thousands of dollars by doing things. We did this block house down here ourselves. We saved us, how much we saved on that house? Just the labor, just what we did, just the block work. Just the block work.
Yeah.
The man,
and that's on the one we're doing now.
Yeah, the man told us to come out there and lay the lintels on the block. It was going to be about $2,000, right? If he came and did the work. Then lay the lintels on the lintel blocks. $2,000. I went and purchased a $110 machine for one day, and we did it ourselves.
And that goes back to thinking out. Thinking out. See, when we easily discourage, and listen, Vlad, Tylex, and Elder Johnson, these guys right now can go anywhere and probably be a project manager. And they didn't have any of that skill when they first started working. Because I shut them down there, y'all go figure it out. Go down, go through the permit process, go to, and they know how they know how to do it. I don't touch any of it. But see, that stuff that you don't see, black young men knowing how to do. And knowing how. So and again, we now, as a church, must understand the war that we're up against economically. And now, not just we are free physically, now let's war economically. And that war economically, we ain't got to shoot no bomb. We ain't got to go shoot nobody. All we got to do now is build. All we got to know is build. All we got to do is now is refocus our finance. And go now, use the brothers in here for the yard. Use the brothers in here for the, and then what you got to do is provide quality. Don't give me no slopped up job. Provide me quality that the work is just, and this is one problem that I have, and say this, not in all cases, but I will say this. When you hire most white business owners to do a job, they do try at their best, a lot of them, now some of them don't, to give you a good quality job. We sometimes don't like to give good quality and don't like complaints when we don't give good quality. You know, we'll do a yard, we won't get the edges. We do a tree, we won't trim that. You fix a plate, the meatloaf hanging around off the plate, greens all on top of the onions, and yes, sir.
Another issue I've seen in the black community when it comes to working together with this construction, you have me reach out to individuals to try to make a deal and for subcontractors, and you'll be surprised. I don't never bring them issues back to you because I don't want you dealing with any of those. But Pastor, you'll be surprised at how many of those black men argue with me.
Yeah.
And treat me like dirt.
Yeah.
And treat me like the enemy. As soon as I walk on the site with the plans, oh, here he go.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and they don't even know I'm the one that recommended them to you.
Yeah.
For the job.
Yeah.
All because I hold it standard.
Hold accountable.
And I hold them accountable, but they get so upset with me, and all I do is walk on because you think you know everything. And it almost hurts your feelings a little bit because I was like, I recommended you because I'm trying to keep this amongst ourselves, but it's so much animosity.
We don't respect each other. If in our mind, if it's white, it's right. And you've noticed with me working with black contractors and white contractors, many times I can call a white business owner and say, I'm not going to pay that. That's too high. You cut it down. I pick up the phone. We be doing business. They give me a price. I say, no, I'm not paying that. Say, give me the right price. With the job we were doing on the, I think what was it? What was the last one?
One right down here with the electric.
Electric, yeah.
The electric salt cut.
Yeah, he gave a price. How much he cut it down to?
He went from I think 19 to 14.
Yeah, I said no, we ain't paying that. You got to cut that down, brother. And cut it right on down. You tell a black guy that this business, man. I'm talking to you. I'm negotiating. He get mad and oh nigga can't give a nigga nothing. Yeah? Every time a nigga they think they bright. They think they smart. No. They ain't going like that. Cause I don't do business just because you black. I'm trying to help you as a black business owner, but I'm going to do what's best. I tell you what, I had this problem in Mississippi, and I have to say this. And I'm going to say this, and I hope all my Mississippi saints up there, I hope all the Mississippi saints hear me. I ain't been ripped off, but 2 times in my life, 2 times that I can ever think I've been ripped off. And both of them happened in Mississippi. I got $25,000. I could less. I could probably say maybe 10 because we did get the air conditioning stuff. And what got me, and the Lord was dealing with me. I said, this other thing ain't right. But I said, you know what, let me check. I told Sherry, I said, Sherry, I don't know. She said, Pastor, I don't know either. She said, but you pastor. So I called the city to confirm this man was a legitimate contractor. He had somebody in the city working with him. And when I called, they answered the phone. So yes, he's inside. He's a contractor. Here's his license number. Well, he good. Go on pay him. That guy wasn't no bit more licensed. Man, that academic, I don't know what he did. I saw the other, and I went down there to Augusco. I had another guy that I tried to pay him. It didn't work. Lost some money there. I called this white gentleman, Brother Armstrong. I needed some, and I'm going to show you the money that they lost. And I called Brother Armstrong. And it's not that that whites have better business and better quality. It's just we are not used to serving ourselves. I called that young man. I told him, he said, I'll call you right back in a few minutes. He called me right back. He told me it was going to be, I think, $24,000 to get all them pumps in. I had been trying to get people everywhere. $24,000 to get pumps in. I got him. He went down there, gave him the $18,000. That boy brought them pumps, put all the pumps in. That young man won't call him, put all the pumps in. Everything was done. I had absolutely no problem out of him. We have problems submitting to each other, working under each other, working for each other. And it makes us as individuals say, you know what, forget it. I don't even want to deal with it. So we got to make sure that whatever business that we provide it with high quality. I got one more script. I got a scripture after this. Go ahead, son. Giving them.
Why do we feel like we always, if we working together, why is it always, if I look out for you, you feel like I'm always overcharging you, like I'm trying to get something from you? The price is the price. I'm not necessarily overcharging you because if you call the white person, they give you the same price or a little bit higher than what I'm trying to give you. And just in case if I'm doing either the same quality or better quality, you feel like just because you call the black person, like I'm ripping you off on the price. A lot of that with with us.
Yeah. When I'm doing business, I don't care if you're black, brown, or green. I want the best price and the best quality. I'm going to tell you what, if a Martian show up for me today and he tell me he can do it for the right price, I'm going to tell him to get his antennas in there and get to work. but and I think it's true. And Ella Johnson, Ella Tylex, they know what I do. If I get a business and I call a business, I want 3 quotes. And when I find 3 quotes, I want to see what you're going to do. And whoever gives me the best quote out of 3, I'm going to get you. That's what I'm going to go. I want the best quote. And then we must make sure that our prices are compatible. That's true. And they must make sure that they don't think we ought to give them a discount on everything. But, that's true. That's true. Instead of charging the right price. Right. I did that on a job, and that's when they don't think son. I did another job in Mississippi that I was doing, and I called them to give me a bid. I think I might have sent that bid to y'all on something we doing at the church. That price was almost $280,000, I think it was. I looked at that price, and they didn't know that I do construction. I know about construction, so he had the electric like $90,000. I said, what you doing? I said to him, what y'all finna light up the whole city? I must be trying to build that city like Jesus had. There's no light, no need of the sun. Who gonna pay $90,000? So I told him, I ain't gonna do the deal just cause your price, just cause I know you're trying to rip me off. Then I told him, oh, that was a mistake in there. No, that wasn't no mistake. There was no mistake. I would have been my mistake. Yes, sir.
Another thing I've been learning when you taught me those quotes, it's not always just about price either. Price is good, quality is good, but I need to know that you're gonna show up to work.
Yeah.
You can't start the job and then 3 days later you gone for 2 weeks, come back 3 days to work, gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And now we got a mess around here that got to be picked up because you done took the job, but you ain't finished the job.
That's right. That is true.
It's about quality.
That's true.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A lot of times I appreciate that because when we going live about everything, and I notice one thing that you do, you'll call me a lot of times if you get a quote somebody with air conditioning.
Yep.
You'll call, Mark, what you think about this? Mark, what you think about that?
I'm gonna
like,
ask
no,
you.
Pastor, that's too high.
Yep.
It
I'm
can
gonna
be
ask
done
you.
cheaper than that.
Yep.
If I can't get to it, I know somebody could do it cheaper than that.
Yep.
But at the same time, a lot of brothers and even other churches doing the same thing.
Oh,
Bishop
yeah.
McLeod call Marcus. He was what?
You got the
Joe,
knowledge.
The intellects, and me personally, my quality of work, I put my all in everything that I do. And I know that y'all know that. But at the same time, my quality of work that I do sometimes better than white people on the job.
Yep.
But at the same time, I'm appreciative that you can trust in me to understand that I can tell you that if you're going to get ripped off or not because I know what the numbers are.
And if it,
And I can see the numbers. And the same equipment that they can buy, I can buy the same equipment.
and one thing I like about you, if something is wrong, like you told me the other day,
I'm going to tell
you
you if it's wrong.
you said if I did something wrong, I'm gonna take responsibility. I'm gonna fix it. You go to some folk, you say that they're gonna argue with you about it, and that you're gonna lose a customer. You're right.
And that's a big issue even in the black community.
So we may be able to do businesses, but do we have customer service?
That
We
customer
got
service,
business,
It
but-
loses a lot of relationships.
That's right.
It loses it because you can go there and do a job, and if you do something wrong, they might not do a follow-up to go back.
I told my
You
daughter
will
when
lose that customer.
I told one of my daughters when we had mothers, we had the restaurant open over there, and I told her, and I said to her, the guy next door, we used to have the pepper packs, and salt packs, and we didn't have no salt or pepper at that time. I think it was salt, whatever. And the guy came and got the salt shaker and took it over there, of the pepper, and my daughter was upset with him. Said, Daddy, is that? And I went over, I said, no. I said, let him keep it. She said, but Daddy, it's our salt shaker. I said, I asked a question. I said, listen, baby. Listen to Daddy. She said, okay, Daddy. I said, this man come over every morning and get a breakfast from us, right? He said, yeah. I said, how much he pay? She said, he pay about $5. I said, good. I said, he do that every day, right? So I said, now take 365 and times that by 5. And take how much that salt shaker costs. You think I want to lose a man that's coming every day to give me $5 over a salt shaker? Then we had a salt shaker, and he come back with a pepper, give him that. If we want a bottle of ketchup, give him that too. And some mustard. I'm getting $5 a day. Customer service. So please, it's as hardening, but let us realize and I've got these few scriptures, and I'm gonna go, but I think we're getting somewhere. Let's realize that we're in this war, because if we don't realize it, we ain't gonna try to fight. Let's realize that we're economically bound. Let's realize that we're psychologically bound, and many are spiritually bound, so that we can make an effort to get out, because you'll never be able to get out of something that you don't know that you're in. And it's until that we realize that we are psychologically, spiritually in some cases, and economically bound. See, we're liberated spiritually because we don't believe in that Jesus that they taught, the long hair and the blue eyes. We're liberated from that spiritually. And we're not under Baptist, Methodist, Presbyterian doctrine that started from Calvinism and all that stuff there. So we're liberated from the doctrine. We're liberated physically. And many of you are liberated psychologically. But now we're liberating ourselves economically. And that's the point that, and it's going to take the men to do that. We got two forms of liberation. Our first is the restaurants. Deacon Joe, the restaurant, those 10 men put that money into 10 brothers. That's our project. And then the restaurant here, those are two things. Let me give you this. In the book of Deuteronomy chapter 15 and 12, you got it?
And if thy brother,
So this was what set us back. After we came out of slavery, the Bible says anytime a man was a slave, when you let him go, you had to give him something so he wouldn't still be depending upon you. If your brother be waxing,
and if thy brother in Hebrew or in Hebrew woman be sold unto thee,
yes.
and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee.
Yes.
And when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty. Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy flock and out of thy floor.
So when you let him go, you're supposed to give him some of your flock, give him some of your food, so the man can survive. If not, he's going to be reverting back to you. So all of the things that we should have got, we didn't get, so it caused us to have a dependency on the slave master. So essentially we are still a slave because economically we were never really. So God said, this is what the scripture is saying. When you let a man go physically, you got to let him go economically, and you release him economically by giving him enough to start with. Read it again.
And
God knew this. God knew this. Read.
And if thy brother, an Hebrew man or an Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee, and serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. And when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty. Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy flock.
God knows when you free a man physically, you got to free him economically. That's why freeing us didn't work. Because it freed us physically, but the liberation of our economics was not done, and we've been a setback ever since. So now we've got to go and get our own, because they didn't give it to us when they freed your mother and your father and your forefathers. And it has given us a setback that have never. So now that's what we got to do, because they didn't give it to us. We got to liberate ourselves, because they were supposed to financially liberate us. 40 acres and a mule. They knew that. That's what they promised, because that would free us economically. So slavery, we couldn't recover from slavery because you were not supposed to release a slave and not give him something to survive, because it would create a dependency on them. I asked the person this, and I'm going to close with this. I'm going to pick up on this, and I'm going to do some scheduling things when I get off of this. I asked a person about, they said, don't feed the gators. And one of the reasons they don't want you to feed them is because they develop a dependency, and they'll hurt you. They'll hurt you. They're talking about all this violence that America has with black people. They created it. You fed them, enslaved them, and now if you cut off that supply and they don't know how to hunt for themselves, what you think that gator going to do? He's attacking. A lot of this attacking that's going on is because slavery. Black people are so violent and all this crime is going on. People being killed. Why? Because you created a dependency, and I don't know how to go get it on my own, so I go get it from you. So the woman now goes out there and get on there in the well. She been giving them fish. The guy said, I'm hungry. The well said, them little fish y'all giving me, that ain't enough. I want more fish. I'm used to another kind of fish. So she goes out there and get on the well. Well, throw up and get rid of it and say, oh, he killed her. Oh, God, they're going to shoot the whale. He's killing. Now, you know when you went in there what he was called. He was called a killer whale, not a friendly whale, not a Pooh Bear. He told you what I was. I'm a killer whale. You jump in there with a killer whale, what you think you're supposed to do? You're supposed to kill. That ought to told you something right there. He's a killer whale. You can't take a killer whale and put him in a swimming pool and expect him to be alive and throw him 2 sardines and think he's supposed to throw in a flip. He said, I wasn't made to turn flips, man. I don't want no sardines. I want something bigger than that. You're going to throw me a sandwich, a snack, man. I can eat your whole family in one day. You throw me some scuba snack. No, man. You think I am a kitten? I'm a whale. I kill. So what happens? You feed a man, now he becomes dangerous. And that's why we got this dangerous society. A few things I want to say. No questions, no more questions or comments. A few things I want to say that we can get in mind, get in focus. We're going to be having, we can go off now. We're going to be having some shut-ins. Brothers shut-ins. All right, brothers. I'm good. We'll have some brothers shut-ins that we'll be having. And on those